Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Jupyter and IPython developers meeting for Tuesday, October 27th. And I have to leave here for another meeting in a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do my update first. So as you can see here, I'm in New York. We're currently at the Sloan Foundation working for this week. But I've been here for about a month and will be here for another roughly 3 weeks, working with Jason, Sylvan, and Chris, and then David and Stephen were also here. I guess, was it last week or the week before? I can't keep it all straight now. The first big area is Jupyter Day. This last Saturday, we had our first Jupyter Day conference in New York City. We had about 8 speakers, had an absolutely fantastic set of talks that were given, and I think our final registration count was 85, but I don't think 85 people showed up. It was probably at most around 70, but it was a really engaged audience, and Katie and I learned a lot about organizing these events. And we'll definitely be working with other people, such as Safia, over time to try to streamline the planning of them. But overall, it was a really good experience, and it went very well. Another is that this week we've been sitting down trying to design models for different parts of the front end. In particular, thinking about the notebook models that will, so cell, notebook, input area, output area, all those things, and trying to get ready for Kester, who's going to come in person here and work with us next week, next Monday and Tuesday. I know Matthias can make it online, and we'll try to pull other people in as well to really begin talking more about the design of all these things. I've also been spending a little bit of time trying to finish up 4.1 work, talking about various things with people, and I think I will stop there.
Thank you very much. I think it's my turn. So during the last week, we had bus factor problem with NBViewer, which was down for 24 hours, and we been caught off guard because Nick was unable to help us restart the server, and Kyle was traveling. So we are trying to organize to have more people aware about how to restart everything and fix when there are issues. And same thing a few days later with the blog, which I think was done yesterday. And like only a few people knew how to access the different machine and restart everything. Hopefully Min was awake. Min is always awake and connected, which is helpful. And so maybe we will try to start writing documentation on how, like internal documentation on how to diagnose when there are such issues, how to warn people on our status page and everything. And the second thing I've done is mostly polishing Notebook 4.1 and a long discussion we have with Brian and John and Jess about the new multi-selection marking cells UI and how it affects user and how it slightly changes the semantic of what you do. We would appreciate if people can come around, play with that, and help in the discussion. The new features is definitively more powerful, allow users to do more things, but can be quite confusing in some rare circumstances, and some of us think that it actually changed the meaning of some keyboard shortcuts, which might not be a nice thing to do for a minor release. You cannot have the same shortcuts that does 2 different things in between minor revision. So you can comment the issues, read what has been said, and wait in. Maybe I will try here to have some people that have never seen that use this feature and see what they are thinking about it. And that's roughly it. And the next person is Min, if you're online. Don't.
Yeah, just trying to unmute myself. Yeah, so I was traveling most of last week at the ICT conference, which is a European funding conference, so I haven't done too terribly much, but I've been chatting with various people about various things and getting the blog site back up yesterday. There's also been some corporate ones other than the notebook progress. I did a release of IPython parallel today. NB convert just has one issue open from Matthias that I haven't quite been able to figure out what the issue is. But I think once we figure that one out, we can ship the NB convert. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, that's about it.
Next is John. John cannot is updating his blogging app, so he might not be online yet. So let's see if Safia is there.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself as well. This week, dev work was mostly divided across the binder registry and tempNB. So doing some work on those. After the whole issue with NB Viewer last week, Kyle gave me access to some of our infrastructure. So I spent a little bit of time just getting access and getting acquainted with things. So should anything happen, I'm available to diagnose. I also talked with Jen Witt 2 weeks ago at Grace Hopper about potentially doing an article on Project Jupyter for opensource.com. So I've just been working on writing that piece, just covering who we are, why we're important, why our community is awesome, and some ways we're looking to improve in a candid way. And then just working on reaching out to sponsors for Jupyter Day. And that's been pretty much it for me. John is still mute.
Well, I think it's me next. Okay, so last week I spent most of the time cleaning up the Phosphide demo app that we showed Brian in New York. Basically, this was a multi-plugin architecture with a menus plugin, a doc area plugin, a Jupyter plugin, all in one app. I was on holiday at the end of last week, so I handed that off to Steve, who did some awesome work integrating it with his Steel.js-based dynamic loading stuff. So I'll let Steve tell you about that. But Steve did all of the work in the later half of the week. And this week I'm just adding to the stuff that Steve's done, and we're both working on getting that more to a sort of a stage that we're happy with as a general prototype. That's it basically. Over to Chris.
Right, so I've been some more on-site meetings here in New York City. Met with the same group of guys last week, along with the IBM folks towards the end of the week. Had some more architecture discussions about things that we're working on moving forward with dashboarding, Phosphide plugin apps, etc. Made some improvements to various things in Phosphor with respect to that. So working on improving, making it simpler to add widgets into tab panels and whatnot without having to explicitly create tab objects, those sorts of things. And some new hot zones to the dock panel widgets. Those haven't been merged yet to master, but this basically brings the interactive API in line with the programmatic API. So everything that you can do with the programmatic API, you can now also do with the mouse using standard drag and drop operations. So not so much code, but more lots and lots of architecture discussions.
I actually, I have one other thing I forgot about. So yeah, we as part of the Jupyter Day set of events last week, the IBM folks, Justin, Dan, and Peter visited us here in person on Friday. We had a fantastic day talking about different aspects of the project, how their incubation proposals relate to and integrate with the rest of the project. And we spent part of the day working on a project roadmap, at least trying to draft out some of that. I've created a Jupyter roadmap repo and have started to draft some things locally. I'll submit a PR to that repo at some point. We can start to discuss that. We felt like that was an important part of the puzzle in terms of communicating to the broader community what it is we're actually building and when and how and things like that. So.
Okay, I think I'm next. I have continued to be pretty busy, so not too much stuff, though a couple conferencey things. I submitted a demo proposal to 6CSE, which is a computer science education conference. We had initially submitted a paper, but it got rejected, so we submitted a demo instead. So we'll see if that gets accepted. And then I've also been asked if I want to give a talk at Code Neuro in San Francisco. I said yes. If anyone else is going to be in the area, then you're welcome to join me. I'm happy to give a code talk or whatever. But if not, then I'll just be there. And then I also just put together quickly an MBGrader Docker image, which makes it a little bit better for auto grading if you don't trust the code that your students have written.
Testing. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay, yay, woo, okay. So last week I made some small fixes to IPy widgets, and Min made some fixes too, so I went ahead and pushed a hotfix for that patch version. I finished completely decoupling IPy widgets from the notebook, so you can now use widgets outside of a notebook context. If you have custom widgets, please check that out and try doing that. I need some feedback to see, where the rough edges are and whatnot. And then this week, I've been working on the cell marker stuff with Matthias and Jess and Brian. And I'll also be doing some O'Reilly stuff this week. I have a deadline in a couple of days. So that's it for me.
Who hasn't talked?
I haven't talked. Am I next on the list?
I haven't.
Oh, go ahead, Darian.
Okay. So, along with some of the stuff that Chris was saying about dashboarding, we decided that the sort of grid panel-based approach to dashboarding wasn't really appropriate. What we really want is to use more of those anchor areas that Chris mentioned. So I'm working on using the native HTML drag and drop APIs to allow both phosphor-based widgets and pretty much anything else that can register with certain MIME type to be droppable as a widget inside dashboards. And once my prototype is working, we're going to integrate that into the dock panel and tab panels inside Phosphor. That's it for me.
Okay, I guess I'm next. All right, so Min merged the last, hopefully the last refactor of the kernel objects, and we released a Jupyter.js services on Node Package Manager this morning. So that's ready, alpha release to be consumed.
Hey,
yay! Only took like 4 months.
just an afternoon of work.
No big deal. Also working with Dave and Chris on the FOSS4 plugins and the example demo using menus UI and a version of the Jupyter Notebook. Lots of refactoring going on in the past few days, but I think we'll have that all working within the next day or so, a full demo application using the FOSS4 plugins. And then beyond that, I'll be just cleaning those up, adding unit tests, and then working on this notebook plugin, whatever form that takes, improving that, which may inform the Jupyter Notebook repo itself or become something else. We'll have to figure that out. That's it.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I've been working on primarily the design discussions and meetings happening here in New York, but also playing around with the input widget and trying to get back up to speed with testing, whatever the current framework these days is for JavaScript testing and things like that. So Steve and I, we should probably connect about. I haven't done too much more than what you guys already had for the code mirror panel in the end, but I can put over whatever code I have for first draft for the code mirror input widget. I do have another quick question. Sylvan and I are coming out to San Francisco for about a week and a half in 2 weeks, and we were hoping to work with people at Berkeley. Are people going to be at Berkeley? Matthias, are you no, you're in France now, right?
I'm leaving on the 18th.
Okay, so we'll intersect then. You're at Berkeley right now. Oh, so that's really good, actually. Then, are there other people going to be at Berkeley?
Fernando might be. Yes, it will be because there is a talk. Like Brian is going to. What's the conference you're going, Brian?
Open Data Science Conference is the weekend of the 14th and 15th. I'll be in the Bay Area also, the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th.
Yeah. So Brian, Fernando, and I should be around. Jess, I suppose you will be around. If you're not doing your PhD, which I guess you will be doing.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be working on my PhD, but I'll also be around.
Okay, we aren't sure what days we'll come over to Berkeley or what days we'll just be in San Francisco. So yeah, let's coordinate later then.
Yeah, if you want a place to work in Bits, just tell me and I will add your name on the guest list.
Oh, perfect. Thanks. We'll coordinate with you later then.
I don't have an update. I've been working with these guys on the design discussions, and I am in survival mode because I have to prepare some conference at the end of the week, so I'm preparing my survival kit for that. Yeah.
Anybody else? Nobody from IBM?
All right. We're back here. We're sitting quietly. So it's only Ryan and I today, but this week I only got to work like 8 or 9 hours, but I still got some stuff done on Jupyter Day and working with Katie on the newsletter. We're going to figure out if we still want to use Brian. I wasn't very sure if we wanted to use Markdown for the newsletter because we could use like other services. I'm not sure how we're going through to distribute that. Are we doing it through the mailing list? Or
I think we'll probably post the newsletters to the blog.
Okay.
And then just email links out to them.
Okay.
On the mailing list.
Okay, that sounds good.
Is the mailing list on a already existing repo or document you can share?
You mean it's a newsletter?
Sorry.
I think we're going to start doing that. I think we got it out. Did Katie send out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Katie's at a meeting right now for the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, so she's going to put in her report after. But also I was unsure on, did we want to make a dedicated page on the website for Jupyter Day, or do we want to just post the events to the blog? Because I was talking with some people about it getting like lost in those posts. Like, do we want to segregate the two? I found this nice theme online that we could integrate into the site that is for like events and like having the schedule and everything on a page. So Any word on that, Brian?
I would bring that up on the mailing list.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make a post on that. And then also the last thing I worked on this week was working with the material design widgets. And now I'm starting to iterate on top of that with the cells and kind of making it all work together with multiple widgets in one cell. So we should get that out by Wednesday or Thursday this week. And that's the end of my report from the end, right?
Okay.
Yeah, nothing particularly interesting to report. I've just been making some pull requests to Tradelets. I guess we already discussed adding notifiers to traits via metadata. That's not going to come in right away. But what does need to get discussed is at some point is that I made a new pull request for an at default decorator that doesn't involve some weird stuff, basically. So that should be a lot cleaner, that implementation of it. And then I've just been working on Matplotlib still. The only thing that needs to be done at that point with Tradelets is to rework the documentation so that it can be merged. And then I have been thinking about scale and p-change, which are two things that would make sense to Brian in the context of Tradelets. But that's not part of what would get merged. So yeah, that's all I have.
And that's a second follow.
So anyone? Damian cannot join, but he's back from holidays, so he hasn't anything worth mentioning. And I'm looking quickly at the hackpad to see if anybody else have left messages to convey to YouTube listeners. But it seems like that's it. One last chance if someone wants to speak now. Okay, so thanks everyone. It seems it was a short meeting. Bye-bye, and see you next week. See you on the mailing list on Twitter and everything. Bye, Internet.